Hey there, welcome back to Midlife and Glowing. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nicole. And since we're heading into the holiday season, the time of year when it feels like everyone and everything wants a piece of your energy, we thought it would be the perfect time to talk about energy leaks.
And these are the sneaky little ways your time, focus, and vitality get drained throughout the day. You might not notice them at first, but they add up. And by the end of the week, you're wondering why you're so exhausted, unmotivated, or disconnected.
It's not always that you're doing too much, it's that the things you are doing aren't supporting your energy the way you need them to. When I say energy leaks, I'm talking about anything that drains your physical, emotional, or mental energy without giving much back in return. For some women, it's skipping meals or running on caffeine. For others, it's saying yes to things that immediately feel like a no.
Yep, I've definitely been guilty of all of those things. And it could also be those little daily habits that just chip away at you, scrolling too long, comparing yourself on social media, not creating enough space between commitments.
And during perimenopause and menopause, our capacity for stress changes. Our nervous systems are more sensitive, and we can't bounce back from overextension like we used to. So energy management becomes everything.
Which means awareness is the first step. You can't fix what you don't see. All right, so let's call out a few of the most common ones we see in ourselves and with women we work with. Number one, overcommitting. This one's huge around the holidays. There's this pressure to say yes to every party, every family thing, every end of year event, and before you know it, you're left with zero room to breathe.
Right, we think of that as a boundary leak. You're saying yes out of guilt or habit, not alignment. It's okay to decline something and preserve your energy for the things that actually matter. Or maybe the flip side is you do actually want to go to all of these things, but doing too many of them close together, especially if you're an introvert, can be extremely draining.
And that brings us to another big one, neglecting your own needs. Like pushing through hunger, skipping your workouts, or forgetting water all day because you're too busy.
Yeah, that's such a sneaky one. We often think of those things as small or insignificant, but blood sugar crashes, dehydration, or lack of rest all hit harder in midlife. And the fix is often simple. Eat, hydrate, move, rest.
Right. And I'll add in comparison as another energy leak, especially when you're scrolling and you start thinking, she has it all together and I'm falling behind. It's subtle, but it drains your mood instantly.
I can 100% relate to that, definitely. Comparison and perfectionism are emotional leaks. They consume energy that could be used for creativity or joy.
And then there's clutter, physical, digital, or mental. That too much feeling when your environment, inbox, or schedule feels overwhelming.
That's a great one. Clutter equals decision fatigue. Every time you see something out of place, your brain registers it as one more thing to handle. Simplifying your space simplifies your energy.
Yeah, I think this one in particular really resonates with me because I really like a neat space and I don't like clutter. I like things to be clean. Yeah. And that's just something that my children don't understand. They don't understand that, like, for my mental well-being, I need to have things picked up.
Right.
And they're like, oh, really? You notice when something isn't put up? Yes, I do, because it's, it's that extra.
Yeah, it just makes you feel like you still have something to do before you can take time for yourself.
Yep, exactly. And it's really hard to explain that to to my family. No, just put your stuff away. That's all.
That's funny.
I mean, we would have no beef if you would just put things away after you take them out. We're all good.
Totally.
Okay, so once you start noticing these leaks, how do you plug them? Let's go through a few things that make a real difference for us.
First, boundaries. The simplest and hardest one. Start asking, does this cost or conserve my energy? If something consistently leaves you feeling depleted, it's time to set a limit or say no.
I love that. I also like to think of boundaries as invitations. You're inviting in the kind of energy you want more of, instead of constantly fighting off what doesn't feel aligned.
Yeah, and the next thing, nourishment. You can't keep your energy stable if you're not eating or skipping protein and minerals and hydration. That's where your mineral mocktail, balanced meals, and rest rituals come in.
Yeah, I will say I was definitely guilty of, skipping meals, running on caffeine when we're in the thick of all the things with the kids and you're running
Yeah.
a million places. And, that was probably the time that I needed this most because
Yeah.
you're extra stressed, So if you're in that space too, just take a pause and recognize that you actually need that extra nourishment and support. And if you just prepare yourself ahead of time, pack things the night before or, whatever it is, prepare yourself so you can support your health through those very crazy times in life. Okay, and next up is sleep. And I know we say this often, but it's the foundation. If your nervous system never gets to power down, your energy leaks will keep getting louder.
Yeah, and that leads to another one, nervous system care. Try weaving in micro resets throughout your day. A few deep breaths before you check your phone, or even putting a hand on your chest when you feel overstimulated.
Yeah, I've actually noticed myself doing that lately, and I find it to be super centering. Like, I've been subconsciously doing it when I'm trying to settle down at night and get to sleep because, sleep has kind of been a little bit of an issue for me. So when we were talking about it, I'm like, you know what? I actually have been subconsciously doing that, and I find it to be very centering. It makes a big difference. So, these small pauses make a huge difference. And it's like you're kind of sealing up the cracks where your energy escapes.
Absolutely. I actually remember in Mel Robbins' book, it might have been the High Five Habit, or it might have been the 5-second rule. I can't remember, but she does talk about that as doing that. It feels a little bit like a hug that you're giving yourself, And it's funny how, you are doing that subconsciously. And it's interesting because if you listen to your body's cues, your body knows what you need, right?
Yeah.
So I just love that.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. And don't underestimate joy. After all, 'tis the season, right? Doing something that makes you laugh, dance, or feel inspired actually restores energy. We forget that pleasure is medicine.
Okay, so let's talk about this in the context of the holidays, since this is when energy leaks multiply. The goal isn't to avoid people or cancel everything. It's to be intentional about what fills you up.
Maybe you love hosting, but you need to schedule a slow morning afterwards. Or if you know certain gatherings are draining, limit how long you stay.
It's about energy budgeting. You only have so much to give, so spend it wisely. And give yourself permission to rest, not as a reward, but as maintenance.
I also think it's a time to notice what lights you up. The cozy parts, the laughter, the connection, you can lean into those while letting go of what feels forced.
And if your body's sending signals, fatigue, irritability, headaches, that tired but wired feeling, that's feedback. It's saying, I need rejuvenation.
Yeah. Don't wait until January to reset. You can start plugging leaks right now by honoring your limits and staying present with what actually feels good. So take a moment to think about where your energy has been going lately. What's been quietly draining you physically, emotionally, or mentally?
And instead of judging it, just notice it. Awareness is everything. Ask yourself, is this something I can release, delegate, or change?
Maybe your energy leak is saying yes too quickly, or skipping meals, or carrying someone else's stress. Whatever it is, imagine sealing that leak, closing the loop, and bringing your energy back to yourself. So here's your glow reflection for this week. What's one small boundary I can honor this week that will help me feel more grounded and less drained?
And remember, your energy is sacred. Protecting it isn't selfish. It's how you show up fully for yourself and the people you love.
We'll see you next time, and until then, keep your glow steady and your energy sealed.